Hello and welcome. I'm Anna Clint here to spread the love and liberation. And to join me is Angela Hyrniuk. Angela's here. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you. Thank you. It's always nice to be here with you. I love you.
Yes, 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 yes. Some of you might remember Angela from one of my more recent summits. She led a beautiful inner child connection, healing I don't even have the right words for it, but it was an inner child healing that you led us through, and it was really profound and wonderful. And I'm excited to talk to you today. Last time we talked on camera, you lived in Australia. Now you live in Costa Rica. I've been following on your newsletter. You've been building a beautiful home there, and it's just about done. And do you want to talk a little bit about what that process has been like? How did you come into the fullness of this expression of your life at this moment?
Yeah. Well, I'll make a long story really short. I am obedient to the divine, and there we were in Australia, and we were living in a beautiful eco village, and we thought this was the end. This was where we're going to live the rest of our life. This was it. We were going to build there, and then a voice said, "You are done with Australia,"
Wow.
and I was like, "Really? Really?" And it just was so clear. You're done.
Mhm.
So then the question was, okay, where next? And I mean, there was all kinds of reasons. My parents are in Canada. I needed to be closer to them. My husband's parents have passed on, etc. And I wanted to be closer to the States. And so here we are in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Being here, like within the first 6 weeks of being here, because we gave ourselves 3 months to just feel it, we
Mhm.
knew, we
Mhm.
knew this was it.
Mhm.
And after that, again, the doors just boom, boom, the green lights open, 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 open. So there wasn't a question. Once we made, once we got on the plane and got here, and then we purchased land again through a whole serendipitous experience through a friend of a friend, crazy kind of stuff. And we started building the beginning of this year. And it's not only a house, we're
Mhm.
building a little village. And
Oh, wow.
we've got an Airbnb casita, a two-bedroom casita, as well as our house. And then we have a meditation that we're building a meditation writing room for me. So, and then we have a bodega, which is sort of like a shed.
Mhm.
So we've got these four buildings on this big plot of land. It's an acre and a bit, and then a swimming pool.
Yeah.
So like I looked at it the other day, I was like, this is not just a house. This
Yeah.
is this is a village. This is
Yeah.
part of an eco community. It's
Mhm.
just burgeoning. It's just beginning with all international folks. Like we had dinner last night with somebody from Italy. She's from Italy, and he was from Great Britain as a couple. And here we are, Australia, Canada. So, you know, the divine pointed us. We just listened and followed. And already, I've made many, many trips back to Canada to see my folks, which is big intention as they
Yeah.
age.
Yeah.
So it's coming to plan. It's coming to fruition.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I know you and I have talked about doing some live work together. So
Mhm.
those kind of things, the seeds have been planted, and now
Yeah.
slowly, slowly, the flowers are going to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as I'm listening to you, I know about your work and we're going to talk a little bit about your work. And the bottom line is about reprogramming the subconscious and the unconscious and all of those limiting beliefs that we all have. And there's a real piece there about the reprogramming, the clearing away of the detritus, the leftover coping mechanisms that are old trauma patterns, old trauma responses that were so valuable at one point in our lives and are no longer valuable to us as adults who are on a liberation trajectory, right?
Yeah.
And so doing this deep, radical healing work, this clearing away, allows that voice to come in, allows that guidance to come in a really profound way.
Mhm.
And so your journey is a beautiful indication of that.
Mhm.
I'd love to, for those people who are going to watch this who didn't see the summit, um, give us a nutshell of you have a very you have a branded healing modality that has science behind it. You did a study to show that it actually is effective over time. It's called ATTM. And if you could tell us a little bit more about that, that would be awesome.
Sure. So the ATTM stands for the Accelerated Transpersonal Timeline Method. And we were
Hmm.
talking before the call about how our timelines are shifting so quickly. And
Hmm.
this method moves into our unconscious and accelerates the healing like unbelievably quickly
Yeah.
and jumps timelines. So we can go back in time, but we can also go forward in time.
Hmm.
And as you say, clearing patterns and causes and conditions, not only from this lifetime, but from previous lifetimes, you don't need to know the
Right.
information because
Mm-mm.
it's energetic.
Hmm.
However, when we go in, we can direct the unconscious to where we do want to heal. So, if you have a specific incident that you want to heal, you can direct your unconscious there. The modality, it's instructional, like there's guidance, there's guided paths and steps and stuff. And the clearing happens in the deepest part of us. And then you come to this level of reality, and lo and behold,
Hmm.
you have more confidence. Lo and
Right.
behold, you're able to ask for more money from a client. Lo and behold, it's not talk therapy. Now, there's nothing wrong with talk therapy. It has a place.
Yeah.
And that's more to do with healing the conscious level.
Hmm.
When we work in the unconscious, we're now moving into symbolism.
Yes.
And we're working in action of changing energy alchemically.
Right.
There aren't words necessarily.
Hmm.
It's about feeling and sensation and symbolism and what arises and color.
Hmm.
So the modality has been, as you say, it's been clinically trialed a few years ago, and within 6 weeks, it's been proven that there's a 12.6% change within 6 weeks. And
Yeah.
within 12 weeks, there's a 20% change in people's behavior
Hmm.
around dysfunction, people pleasing, accepting
Right.
compliments, jealousy, decision making, those kind of things.
Hmm.
And then it's sustained. So then it gets sustained. We at the 24-week mark, we also um, you know, went back into the participants and said, how are you doing? What are the changes? We had a questionnaire that we gave to people at each of these marks. So
Right.
it was actually quite rigorous.
Hmm.
But at the 24-week mark, which is half a year later, people were like, I've sustained the change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So that to me is freedom. Okay. We were talking
Absolutely.
about freedom and love. This is
Hmm.
all about really doing the hard yards of self-love.
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
is really embracing the shadow in a most gentle and yet fierce way, I would put it. And this is the work that happens once you know all the belief systems consciously. It's like, okay, now we're going to go into deeper levels of
Right.
healing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because we're talking about getting to the root cause, the
Yes.
energetic root cause. And that's, buried deep inside of us. Like you said, sometimes it's intergenerational, it's ancestral, it's even past life. I mean, it's so vast. This terrain is so vast. And, we understand things from ancient mystical traditions that are now really coming to be proven. And, we're at this incredible time of history where like the melding of science and spirituality is really profound, and it's only going to accelerate from here.
Yeah.
So it is really exciting to hear about this work, and I really enjoyed experiencing it previously. And maybe I'll post that. I don't know that that's out in the public, so maybe I'll post that video and link to it also so that everyone can go to that as well,
Good.
and really just get that out there.
Well, and for people who are interested, like I'm certifying folks
Right.
in the modality so that it gets further afield. Like
Exactly.
it's great to heal oneself, but if some of your listeners are people who are already practitioners or already have clients and have already done this work, this is an amazing tool to help your clients
Right.
move further. And come the new year, I'm doing another cohort of certification, which which is very exciting. I always love
Fantastic.
seeing people like their ahas, because it becomes different once you've got somebody sitting in front of you that you're now leading through unconscious, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Really,
Yeah.
really beautiful. Yeah, and to that end, you've created a really cool kind of in-depth quiz, and I'm going to share links to that all around, so look out for that. But do you want to talk a little bit about the quiz on these four archetypes?
Hmm. So previously, when I was, giving gifts to people, I was giving them abundance gifts, because we
Mhm.
all want more materiality and ways in which to make money, et cetera, good health or whatever. And I had a Dalai Lama diary, because I worked with the Dalai Lama and spent time in private retreat with him. So these were the gifts, and the gift that, the new gift I thought was just a little bit out of alignment, or sorry, not the new gift, the old gifts
Mhm.
were coming a little bit out of alignment to the folks that I'm wanting to work with. I'm wanting to,
Yeah,
extend, take to their next level.
yeah.
So I sat down and I began to wonder, okay, so everybody knows about archetypes.
Hmm.
However, what about leadership? Let's talk about leadership and style,
Hmm.
because there are so many ways to lead. There's, there are people who, in Buddhism, we have three kinds of leaders. You have a leader that's in the middle of the pack,
Hmm.
and that's mainly like a shepherd with their sheep, right? The
Yeah.
shepherd's in the middle,
Hmm.
and the sheep come, they push the sheep along, and then the sheep behind, and they follow.
Hmm.
Then there's the leader that's the king or the queen that's at the front.
Hmm.
That's what most people think of in leadership, right?
Right. Hmm.
This, to each their own, right? Some people are that kind of, they're the sovereign one that stands in front. Everybody sees them and they have their focal point. And then there are leaders from behind.
Hmm.
Those are the kind that are the ferrymen or the ferrywomen who are on the raft, who are pushing on the raft people down
Yeah.
the river,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
So with these three kinds of modes in mind, I thought, okay, what do you want to know about yourself? Do you want to know what kind of leadership style you have? And so I started putting things together around, you know, how is your addictions? Where are you with your compulsive behaviors? Where are you with your unconscious?
Hmm.
What kind of things do you do with your clients?
Hmm.
What kind of modalities? Are you doing breathing meditation? Are you doing yoga? Are you doing, unconscious work? Are you doing what, Jungian psychology? So these are the questions to find out where you fit in the spectrum of your own personal leadership
Hmm.
style.
Hmm.
And what I chose to do was pick archetypes from Hinduism, Buddhism, the Egyptian spirituality. And I wouldn't say it's Christian, but because we're in a Judeo-Christian world, it's kind of a Christian archetype. And that's the first level is the nightingale,
Hmm.
okay, as in Florence Nightingale.
Hmm.
Okay, so you sing a beautiful song and you attract people in and you give them relief,
Yeah.
right? It's like coming to a hospital and you give that first level of relief to the person. And the salve and the calmness, and you might be using sound healing or curtain, or so that the nightingale is the beginning. And then we move into Tara, who is a Tibetan Buddhist goddess,
Hmm.
and she is one of action,
Hmm.
and she is one of kind of like the impossible. So, your next level leadership, you're starting to have clients that you're mentoring, and they're changing their actions and their behaviors through conscious healing. And this is what I was just saying. You might be working with your belief systems, you might be doing reprogramming on a conscious level. So you're a Tata, you're a we call her power in action.
Hmm.
Then the next level is Isis. So Isis is the embodiment of ascension.
Hmm.
She's now moving into mentoring people who have worked through their conscious level, are now in their unconscious. So like more work in the shadow. She flies and she's got the wings with her, and she's again powerful. She's a little bit gentler. I see her a little bit gentler. Some people see Isis and Tara as equals. I mean, all energy is equal. I'm just meaning that the way in which a leader would lead at this level has her feminine and her masculine a little bit more in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And we see nowadays, the women are trying to embody more of their feminine. We're
Right.
trying to heal our toxic masculinity.
Right.
So this is where Isis is standing. She's a real beautiful blend.
Mm-hmm.
Then the fourth level is Kali. Now, Kali is probably only about 3% of healers, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
on the planet right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kali she's the embodiment of destruction and creation all in one.
Absolutely.
And she goes beyond all conception.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's really hard sometimes to even talk about her because people think she's a destroyer
Right.
and there's nothing good about destruction.
Right.
So, I'm not into dualism, and I know people still have a dualistic mind. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to be careful when I talk about Kali, but she's as important as any of the other level and any of the other deities to become an embodiment of. And that's a level of leadership,
Yeah.
right? Where we go into the void, we go straight into the emptiness and
Mm-hmm.
into the molecular structure with our clients
Yes.
in order to allow them to change, to grow, and it's on a quantum level as well. So it's not just, again, it's not talk therapy. It's not even using crystals or meditation. We're moving into a whole different dimension of,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, you can see this light code on the back of me. So we're using light codes. We're using light language. We're using mantra. We're using Sanskrit. We're using things that are not comprehensible to the
Right.
mind
Right.
necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
those are the four archetypes, well, or the four levels of leadership. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious where they sit. And that's why I created it for everyone to find out, okay, where do I sit? This
Yeah.
is what I think I am.
Mm-hmm.
And where do I actually sit? And it's very
Mm-hmm.
interesting to see the results coming in, you
Mm-hmm.
know. It's mainly women. I've had a few men come through. But I've been actually pleasantly surprised at, people are between the Tata and Isis a lot more
Mm-hmm.
in the upper levels than I expected, which
Beautiful.
is very heartening. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, it's so exciting and it's so necessary at this time in our ascension journey, our evolution, our spiritual, mental, emotional, physical evolution here on planet Earth. This work is so profoundly important and necessary.
Mhm.
And I'm really glad that you're getting more people out into the world doing this work. And I'm grateful for this time that I had with you. I'm excited for the seeds that we're planting for whatever might happen in the future with in terms of in-person collaborations. And just really happy to get your quiz out and to really support you and your work because I really believe in it.
Thank you. Thank you. And I would say to your listeners and your audience, give us some feedback. What would a live workshop look like? What would you
Yeah,
see the two of us do together, you
right.
know, in person? Because my prayer for the next year is to do more live work in concert with others, right?
Hmm.
And
Absolutely.
to bring all levels, whether it's shadow, conscious, unconscious, quantum, between the
Hmm.
two of us, we could have a wild and crazy weekend.
We sure could. And definitely because you're steeping yourself in more writing, I'm doing more writing, I'm doing more visual art. I have an arts background. So creativity is simmering in all these different levels, from like root to the top. Like there's a lot of synergy here. And yes, I love that invitation. Please let us know and inspire us. Thank you so much, Angela. This has been wonderful.
Thank you, Anna, and blessings to all your folks. And do the quiz. There's going to be a link somewhere very close by. Do the quiz. My email, or sorry, my website. I'm sure you're going to put my website. So if you need to be in touch, love to hear from you. And thank you for your work. It's
Oh,
beautiful.
thanks.